Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Scares. That's right, we're going right back to our month-long journey through hell with the second film in the Exorcist series. This one is called Exorcist II, The Heretic. It has been 4 years since the events of the first film, and Regan MacNeil, now 16 years old, has completely forgotten everything that happened when she was a child, suppressing the entire experience. When Father Lamont is tasked on investigating the death of Father Merrin, he discovers how dark the energy still is around Regan. Wow, this movie is trash. You know, I don't say that for a lot of movies. In fact, I'm usually the first to find the silver lining in any film, but that'll be a tough task for this one because there's not much going on here that I liked. And that's too bad. You know, I find it hard to imagine a movie as good as The Exorcist to have a sequel and end up so atrocious. I never expected it to match the first. I knew it was probably going to be worse, but it's essentially laughable as to how bad it is. Because of that, you know, I'm not going to start with the positives this time. I'm going to start with the negatives. First of all, whoever wrote this movie had absolutely no idea where to take the story. The first movie told a complete story from beginning to end. You know, the demon was gone and was essentially vanquished by the priest at the end of the first film. What more is there to say? So to make this film relevant, I feel like they did this double hypnotizing thing where two minds get connected and they can see each other's memories. And at first I had no idea why they'd do something like that, but now I'm hypothesizing that they had to do a mirroring thing in the film where instead of a demon possessing somebody, it's symbolically another person possessing somebody else, which would have been really unique if they did that right, but if that was what they were going for, they certainly did not do that right. No, this hypnotizing thing was weird because once they went back into the memory, the demon from the first, I guess, showed back up in a way, but at the same time, it didn't. And then later in the movie, there's all these POV shots of locusts flying around, and then you have a random cameo from James Earl Jones wearing a locust costume, and then you have Linda Blair back in the role, and she's just not a good actress. Her cuteness helped her innocence in the first film, which at that point, she was not a bad actress. She was just, she was just a kid. In this, she was still doing the innocent kid thing, except now that she was 16, it was obnoxious. Basically, everything that actually made that first film good was absolutely nowhere to be found here, even though we did have returning cast members, which means that it really was a true direct sequel. What about positives? Are there any? I want to say that the only positives in this film mostly come down to potential, all of which was missed potential. The biggest one is having Linda Blair return to her role now as she's older. And as she's older, she could theoretically do a lot more than she could as a kid, and they made her do some crazy things as a kid. But this was significantly tamer, and I'm left wondering if it was really all that important for her to be there in the first place. It's almost a gimmick, just to sell tickets. She's back, y'all! Past that, the hypnotizing thing was incredibly strange sidestep. Definitely something that you're not used to seeing in possession films. But again, that's not what this movie is. It's not possession. It's an investigation. And as such, I'm left shaking my head because had that investigation never began in the first place, had they never done the hypnotizing thing, yeah, you guessed it. It was all pointless. Everyone would still be alive and well, and nothing bad would have ever happened. I don't know, let's go ahead and break down my final score. From a technical, unbiased perspective, a lot of this film is essentially business as usual until you start looking at all of the people in the movie and how a lot of them serve very little importance and have bad performances all around. And from there, you start to realize that the story on its own often feels like it's going nowhere fast, as if the writers had diddly squat to offer and decided to just wing the entire rest of the freaking story. So a lot of this movie ends up feeling unprepared. That's why my score here is pretty low at 48%. My bias score, or just how I felt about it overall, is quite a bit lower because, in general, this film confused, annoyed, and disappointed me. I just don't know why they had to make this movie in the first place. But if they insisted on it, I guess that's fine. Just make a movie that is worthy of the Exorcist name. Not whatever this is. My score here is 30%, and when we average out those two scores together, we come to the final rating of 39%. 39 out of 100 possible stars, or an F letter grade. This is the first F that I've given out this month. Hopefully I don't just keep handing them out in the nearby future with the next movies that I'm going to be talking about. I don't know. Guys, what are your thoughts on The Exorcist II? Are you a fan of this movie? Or would you just rather ignore watching it altogether? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert.